What's up, preppers? Army Vet Florida Prepper, and today we're going to be talking about hurricane preparedness. So whether you're just moving to Florida or thinking about moving to Florida, you've been here for a while and you're just behind the curve a little bit, I'm going to show you everything you need to be ready for 14 days after a major hurricane. So stick through the whole video because there's a lot to cover in a short amount of time. Alright, preppers, so in front of me I have 2 totes, a cooler, and a camping stove. This right here is just what you can keep in your house. This doesn't include fuel, alternative power sources, transportation. That'll be in another video. Too much stuff to put in one video unless I wanted to be an hour long. So we're going to go ahead and jump into these things real quick and get through everything so the video's not too long. But I can't stress it enough. Hurricanes can be really bad, and you never know what path they're going to take to the last minute. So this is things that you can keep at the ready at all times, and you can rotate it if you build it the right way. You don't have to just buy generic camping foods, freeze-dried or anything like that. You can buy everyday stuff that you use and rotate stock. A lot of the stuff has a long shelf life, way past what they say they do. And if you stuff that you eat normally, you can rotate it out. Just like I've talked in other videos about the stuff I have behind me, you can rotate it out and it'll last you forever as long as you keep rotating it. But it's good to have this stuff ready because you never know when you might lose power for 14 days after a hurricane. And this stuff right here will keep you and your family fed. Now, this is built for 2 people because it's just me and my wife. So this is built for 2 people right here. So if you got 4 people, you probably have to have 2 more totes up here, identical for each one that's stacked with the same stuff in it, because you got to double in that case, because this is built for 2, so it's a good foundation. So if you got 6 people, you times this by 3, and you just go from there. Obviously, the more you have in your family, the more totes you're going to have, but that's part of the, the gig you got when you have more people that live in your residence. So whether it's family members or friends or roommates or whatever, the more people you add on, the more your supplies grows, so the more complex it gets. Nothing wrong with that. Just be prepared for it. Don't base your family of 4 off of my family of 2 for the things that I'm going to show you today. So let's go ahead and jump on it. We're going to start off with this tote. Okay, so in this tote right here, this one's the heaviest one out of all. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually filled with a whole bunch of different things for clothing. So in my opinion, 14 days is a good buffer, because the longest I've been without power, it's been 13, 12 days. I don't know, I said it in my last video. I forgot. But it's been over a week. So 14 days is a really good place to start. And in those 14 days, you're going to have clothing for 14 days. You can't just pack 7 days worth of clothes and call it good. You're just going to wash them because there's no power, and you don't know when power is going to come back. You may not even be able to make it to the local washer. Or what if you have to evacuate, right? What if you have to do plan B and evacuate, and you have to head out of the area? You got to have enough for how long you're going to be gone. If you have a 2-week buffer in clothes, you're good. You're good. You got 2 weeks to wherever you go to be able to do laundry and stuff like that. And if you do hunker down until they get power on, because in most cases, a major hurricane, it can take up to 2 weeks and sometimes longer. I have friends that have been without power for 3 weeks, so it just really depends. But with 2 weeks at least of clothing, you'll have time to figure out what you're going to do. But I keep a towel and a washcloth set in here. One for me and one for my wife. And then I have an assortment of socks, underwear, shirts, shorts for both me and her. I have a total of 14 days for me and her inside of here. So you got to roll things. You can even do the Ranger roll, which would be, let's fold it in half one more time, and then we'll roll it up really super tight. Okay? So if you have more people in your family, you roll it up super tight, and you can make it a little bit smaller area, and you can stack a lot more. So, but we don't have to do that. There's only 2 of us, so 14 days fits really nicely in here. But you got to have at least 14 days of clothing for each person. And you got to have socks, underwear, shorts, pants, jackets, because after a hurricane, sometimes the weather can be kind of cooler, especially if the hurricane's coming in late September. early October. You might get a cool spell afterwards, and you might need a jacket. So throw a jacket in there, or just at least grab a jacket whenever you're heading out. You don't have to have everything ready to go, like jackets and stuff like that, but that's stuff that you need to think about. Like I don't put blankets and pillows inside totes to be able, because that's just more totes I have to stack and grab. If a hurricane's coming and you got to get out of Dodge, you just tell your kids, your wife, or whatever the scenario you have going on, grab your blanket and grab your pillow. We got to get out of here. So you have already loaded up the vehicle with this stuff, and they're just grabbing their last minute stuff, and you head out. Maybe have them each have a backpack so they can throw a couple more things in it. Maybe have another tote if you have kids to be able to put some kids' toys in to keep them occupied if you have to bug out. But yeah, so 14 days of clothing. Remember, this is for 2 people right here. You might be able to do 3 people in it if you ranger roll and get everything a little bit more tight. So, but I would figure a tote for every 2 people. So if you have 4 people in your family, you're going to need at least 2 totes, depending on how big the kid is, how big each adult is, and how small the clothes are. We can fit a lot in here because my wife is smaller frame, so her clothes aren't as big as mine. I'm 6'4", 270 pounds, so you got to figure I take up a lot of room. All right, let's get this one out of the way. All right, so now we're going to go on to the next one. The next tote is really heavy, and there's no joke on this one. It's really heavy. Actually, I don't even know why I put it right here. Let's put this back. Yeah, gotta get my workout in for the day. Anyways, okay. So in here is your food. Medical. This is your everything. There's a lot of stuff in here. Okay. There's a lot of stuff in here. So in this tote right here, you gotta have food, medical, hygiene, everything you need ready to go in this tote. So this is for 2 people. So it's not going to be everything you love. Maybe it's not everything you eat on a normal basis, but at least it will give you something for nutrition. Now, this doesn't have a whole lot of meat in it, because if you're bugging in, see, our plan is to bug in. Every hurricane we've always bugged in. We don't live in lowlands, so we don't have to worry about flooding. Our house is actually elevated up off higher than the rest of the ground around us. We're up on a big hill, our backyard is sloped. Trust me, I know it is. I know we're high because I deal with erosion all the time. But, so we plan to bug in. That's why we bought the house that we bought. We like brick homes that have the hurricane straps. We like to bug in. So, I don't have a whole lot of meats, and that's my bad. I'm working on it. They are on the more expensive side of prepping, so keep that in mind when you're doing this. But, real quick to touch on the meats, if you have a lot of meat in a freezer, okay, a freezer you might get about, depending on the temperature in the house, you're going to get about 6 to 8 hours before things start to get a little too warm in there. It's going to start defrosting or thawing. If you buy yourself a good cooler, one that has a rating for at least 2 to 3 days, ice is really hard to find after a hurricane, but it's not. And what I mean by that is that when a hurricane comes, they start pumping a lot of that stuff into the state to be able to get it out. But a cooler like this is a Lifetime cooler. I'm not sponsored by them. I just really like these coolers. This is the one I use on the back of my 4-wheeler a lot. It's got a good seal around it. It will hold ice for about 3 days in the heat of my garage. You'll have a little bit of ice left. It says, I think it says 5 days on it. I haven't got that yet. Maybe during the winter it will. But a lot of times after a hurricane comes in, it's cooler. So, but anyway, so you want to keep a bag of ice or enough bags of ice in a deep freeze to fill up one of these coolers. So you got to figure, you can cook food. Now, I'm not saying to do this. This is just what I do. You can cook food, and it's good for a couple days if it's kept cool if you put it in proper storage bins. So you could cook a good 3 days worth of meat out of your stockpile, and then take the rest of it and stick it in this cooler. And they're going to defrost over time, but as long as you don't let them drop below the safe temperature for that said meat, you'll be okay. Research all that stuff. Do your thing. A video will come on later and down the channel about that stuff, but for right now, do your research on it. Figure out what temperatures for what meats and stuff like that. Get yourself a cooler that you can use for that. You can buy them huge. Big coolers. Sky's the limit. It all depends on your pocketbook. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let me go ahead and start emptying this. We're going to start off with, you got to have breakfast. You want to go with something that's easy. It doesn't take a whole lot. So right here, I have Quick Oats. 100% whole grain, really good for you. They're healthy for you. They're easy to store, easy to make. This one is, what, a half cup of dry oats per serving size. And there's about 30 per serving size. So that is, with 30, you divide that by 2. That's 15 days worth of breakfast meals right there. May not be what we eat every day. My wife hates them, but that's okay, because in a scenario like this, it's all about being able to keep the nutrients that your body needs. All right. Then also on top here, now nothing is in a specific order. It's kind of packed the best way to fit everything, and that's kind of how I do it. But I have 2 rolls of toilet paper. May not be 14 days worth, but you do keep toilet paper in your house, so it's just kind of there just in case, you know, if you got to run out of the house, you know, most places where you're going to bug out, you're going to have access to this, but you never know. So I always keep at least 2 big rolls of toilet paper. Next, you also want to have some canned soups. These are really easy. They don't require much to be able to prep them. You keep some canned soups ready to go. Those are quick meals. You also want some salts and peppers for seasoning. What do we got here? We got some vegetables. 4 cans of vegetables. This would be good for when you're cooking. We plan on eating 2 meals a day, breakfast and dinner. May not be what you do as a family normally, but in dire circumstances, when you're stuck in a house, you're going to have a pantry full of stuff, so you could probably cook a little bit more, but you got to be thinking about the long term. So, you know, run your pantry out, then dig into this stuff. So you might actually have 3 weeks worth of stuff. You'd be surprised. Depends on how you set it up. But then you got your starches. So you got your veggies, you got your starches. So that way you have your sides here. All these are made with water. Right here. And let's see, throw some more out there. Remember, you got to have 14 days worth. And also, another good thing, you have the vegetables here, but another good thing is to keep dried beans and stuff like that. Good source proteins and stuff like that. Some black-eyed peas. I got some black beans in there. Good to go. Oh, got some more sides right here. So, it's good to have these right here. They're glass jars. They got beef and chicken. It's good for making cooking stock. So if you got meats and stuff like that to help flavor, so that way you don't have to use all your seasoning and stuff like that. It's good to have those. I do have some canned chicken. Let's see here. Peanut butter is a good thing to have too. It's high in protein. It's really good for you. It's a good snack filler. And these right here I recently come across. They're called Darn Good. You find them at Walmart, and they're pretty much a soup in a bag, and it says makes 8 servings. Might be 8 servings for a normal person, but this is probably, if you add me into the mix, down to maybe 3 or 4 servings. You know, I like to eat a lot of food. Anyway, so right here is a good serving. It says it's 8 servings right there. You know, that's awesome. You can get that ready to go. All right, so this is all the basic foods that I have right here inside this bin. As you can see, it's a lot of stuff already. You see all this? It's a lot of stuff. Now we're going to start diving into, I'm going to make some more room up here. We're going to start diving into the other things that you need to have, not just food, okay? Let's start off with, oh, wait, look at this. There's 2 more in here. Yay. But anyways, okay, so here we go. So let's start off with hygiene. You're going to want to keep baby wipes. You're going to need deodorant. Okay? They don't have to be the huge sticks. They could be the smaller sticks. You only need it for 14 days. Okay, you're going to need to keep your teeth clean. So don't grab your toothbrush you're trying to get out. So have this stuff ready to go right here. Look at this. It's a 6-pack. I don't need 6 toothbrushes in 14 days, but it's $1. So you might as well get it. Toothpaste. All right, we're going to need some body wash and some shampoo. What do we got here? We got shampoo, body wash, and this should be conditioner. Conditioner. You don't have to live like savages. You can have the nice things. Pick 3 cheap ones. You can do barred soap. I have it up here. Some people like the barred soap better. If you pack it right, it's not going to explode in here. If you keep your temperature control, meaning inside your house, you'll be okay. It's not going to be bad. Okay, so let's keep on going. So you're going to need some dish soap. You're going to want dish soap for sure, because It helps with cutting through grease if your hands are really greasy, stuff like that, and you're not going to waste it. And then you're going to ahead and pick up yourself one of these. Ta-da! I have a ton of them. Antibacterial soap. This right here is not going to help you with the coronavirus because it's not meant for viral, but it's meant for bacteria. Bacteria tend to grow, especially in stagnant water and stuff like that. So if you have to wade through water and stuff like that, or it's in buckets and you're tipping them over, it's good to have this to clean that off your hands. It's really good for also for wound care and stuff like that. If you have like a scrape or whatever, it's going to keep the bacteria from growing inside of it, especially when you have a lot of stagnant water around. So definitely get yourself one of these. If you have a family of like 8, get you 2. All right, now you also need Q-tips. Not everybody uses these, and don't kill me on YouTube, but I know they're not the greatest for your ears, but I've been using them since I was a kid. I know how to use them. This is what I use. So big thing of Q-tips. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and jump into medical, okay? So you have all this right here. This 2 people is more than enough for 14 days. Go ahead and pick yourself up a, ta-da, very basic Johnson & Johnson medical kit. All right. First off, you want to make sure the kit has instant cold packs right here, okay? If you get hurt or whatever, so you just hit it, it gets cold, you can use ice packs. All right, you're going to need that. You're going to need to get yourself adhesive bandage to put in there. You're going to need gauze in here, and you're also going to need wound wash. This stuff right here, we use it at the track with the medical team. It is awesome. It's a sterile saline solution, and it helps wash out the wound without getting rid of all the good bacteria you need to be able to help that wound get better. So I would definitely recommend putting this in your medical kit. One other thing you can add to this, I do not have one in here because they are on our kits that we wear, our tourniquets. You want at least one tourniquet inside your kit. It's very good to have. You never know when you might need it. And that doesn't come from being like, oh, we're going to be fighting people? Well, no. What if the hurricane comes through and something falls off the wall, falls in your leg and you got an artery that's bleeding? Tourniquet, best way to go. And don't worry about putting it on there. You have at least 8 hours before you have a problem. Just be mindful of that. Anyways, so that medical, you're going to want a pain reliever, antihistamine. Go ahead and pick up a bulk pack of that. And you're going to want a bottle of at least 91% alcohol. And you also want a bottle of hydrogen peroxide. Very hard to find rubbing alcohol right now. I got it. It's with the coronavirus that's going on, or COVID-19, should I say. Yeah, they're hard to find. But don't forget about peroxide. Peroxide is great. The only problem with peroxide is it's really harsh. Whenever you use it on a wound, it kills all the bacteria. So it's one of those things where it's like the lesser of two evils, because it will keep the infection from getting into the wound. Okay, so we got all that covered. Now, we're going to want propane for the propane oven that I forgot to show you guys. Haha. So, propane, I keep at least 2 of them. It's a good way to cook all this stuff. Good way to heat this up. But it's not going to be my main fire source. So if you're stuck in the house and you can't go outside because it's still raining or whatever, or start a fire, then yeah, use this. This is like a backup to what you actually use to heat to cook all this food. And don't worry, we're going to talk about water storage too, and a good way to do it on the cheap. But as you can see over here, I have, that's not even all of it. Where'd the rest of it go? Oh, that's right. I was going to do the video outside and I wound up having to do it inside because of rain, because we live in Florida. Anyways, you can stockpile a bottle of water, the gallon jugs of water. You can get any liter-sized bottle, 2 liter. I have a bunch of them in the bathroom ready to go to show you on another video how you can stockpile water on the cheap. Comes out of your faucets, people. It's pretty cheap. It's drinkable, definitely. Otherwise, it wouldn't come out of there. Unless you live in a place where your stuff's messed up. But anyways, okay, so propane. You're going to want a magnesium fire starter. You pick them at Walmart. They're really cheap. The cheaper they are, the more they tend to break over time, the striker and stuff like that. But you're talking about a hurricane bug out after your 14 days or 12 days or 22 days until you're settled back in your house. Go pick another one up after you use it if you have to. It's as simple as that. I also found these. I love these things. Strike a Fire. They last for 12 minutes. They're great for starting fires. They're matches. They're designed for fireplaces. They work really good for starting fires outside. I don't know if that's in focus there. Can we get that in focus? Yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Get this. I love them. They're sometimes hard to find, but you can get them at Walmart, at Lowe's, Home Depot, all those major places. Great to have. There's a ton of them in that box. Last you forever. You're going to want a flashlight. Oh, you got to turn it on first. You're going to want a flashlight. Woo! Going to have the flashlight. This is rechargeable. I can charge it inside the vehicle, so that way it's ready to go at all times. And also, you want to have something for some kind of self-defense. I'm not saying go out there and be a hero. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy a rifle or a gun. I'm fully 100% behind always having a concealed carry license on somebody inside your group, and I do believe in firearms and your right to defend yourself. But for those out there that may not be on the same page as me, I understand that's your right to be able to feel that way. But there's other means of protection that you can do. This right here is also a taser. It is going to put you on the ground if you hit yourself with this. If you hit somebody with this, it's good defense. You can hear it. Oh, man, that's nasty. That's nasty. Let's put it up near the microphone. Oh, I don't even want to hit myself with it. But it's also a flashlight. You can get a couple of these per person, one per person to have. They're chargeable. You can charge them in your car. You can charge them off a little solar panel. They don't take much to charge them, but it's all contained in one unit. It's self-defense, and it's also a flashlight so you can see it. Just make sure you don't tase yourself. Really good to have. What's the brand on this? This is called a Viper Tech. Viper Tech. I don't know, that's going to focus. No, I don't think it focused. But Viper Tech. Next is, you gotta have salsa. No, I'm just kidding. Inside of this jar, I didn't take the sticker off of it, but inside this jar is a very unique fire starter. I haven't covered it yet. We're gonna do a video on it. It's actually something that I picked up by accident when I was a kid. Is you make fire starter right in your own home. Right in your own home, and you have no idea. You take it and you throw it away every week, but you could be stockpiling it, which I do, several jars of this stuff, and it will start fire and blow your mind how quickly it will. It is, let me come over here, lint from your dryer. Yes, lint. Lint, lint, lint. This stuff is awesome. Dryer lint is the most awesome fire starter you could ever have, as long as you can keep it dry. If you eat salsa, ranch dip, anything that's in a can that seals is more than enough to keep it dry, as long as it's in a temperature controlled environment. Either keep it in a hot environment or keep it in a cold environment or keep it in the middle. Don't make it go back and forth between the environments, because then it's going to build up moisture inside the jar and it's not going to do what it needs to do. But lint is awesome. It's an awesome fire starter. It don't take much if you have dry timber, or you can put the whole thing out, get a fire going, just keep it going because you're out of it now at that point. It don't cost you anything because you've already eaten the salsa. That money was spent for salsa or dip. Well, now I have a mess to clean up. Ta-da! We have another one! Yay! So you've already bought salsa and all that stuff. You've already spent your money on it. You've already eaten it. The lint don't cost you anything because you've already worn the clothes. You've already bought them. You've already washed them. So there you go. Great fire starter. And then the last thing I recommend is an air mattress. Queen size or full size to full to queen size. Big enough for 2 people to sleep on. If you have a family of 4, 1 per tote, that's 2 people per mattress. Got to get over, got to cuddle. You're in a situation. You're not on vacation. But good to have these and an electric pump to go with it. You can buy the attachments for the pump to pump up your car tire that you keep in the car. Most cars come with nowadays. We'll air these up, no problem. You're not surviving for the long haul. You're surviving for the short haul. You're dealing with a hurricane, not the end of the world. So you can get away with certain amenities, and this is definitely one of them. So there you have it. That's 14 days of prepping for me and my wife to be prepared for a hurricane. You never know when they're going to come out of the blue. You do get some lead time, but that's not the time to prep. The time is not to run to the store when everybody else is. You need to have the stuff ready to go. Then you go to the store and you get some last minute items if there are any left. If you even want to go to the store. But if you're prepared, you don't have to. You can stay home and get your house ready, which we'll have videos to come on that. This is only a small part of everything that you need to prep and prepared for a hurricane. There's a lot more to it. You still have fuel, alternative power, transportation, boarding down the house, and a whole bunch more to come. But we want to start off with the most important thing is keeping yourself alive, keeping yourself safe, and being ready for yourself. A house can be rebuilt, a vehicle can be replaced, power will eventually come back on in this instance, and going hungry is really hard to deal with. Getting hurt and not having the means to be able to take care of yourself can be very dangerous, and improper hygiene too. So everything I just showed you is what I would start as a beginner prepper for a hurricane. Go out to Walmart, make yourself a list, go buy the serving sizes that are on the back of each packaging that tell you exactly how much you need per person. You're not eating to get fat, you're not eating to lose weight, you're eating to survive in this instance. You have to make those 14 days at a minimum. I would probably go a little bit further if you could, but at least at a minimum of 14 days, go by the serving size. You might lose a little weight along the process, but your body's going to get all the nutrients that that particular type of vegetable, starch, or whatever has to offer meat too. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you learned something. If you have any thoughts, comments, go ahead and throw them down below. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit notifications so you can see all my content that comes out. We have a lot of videos to come in preparedness for hurricane, and I'm looking forward to doing all of them. I hope you like the new camera angles that I've done. For those that have been around since the beginning, I'm getting slightly better at editing. It's been a while since I've done it. I'm getting good at it. I just bought a new computer. I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and edit this video out and get it out there for you guys to see. So this is Army Vet Florida Prepper, and remember, be prepared, be ready.